Laura, if you can lead us, please.
Yes. Thank you. If everyone can please stand and bow your head. God, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Lord, we ask for your forgiveness when we falter. We ask that your Spirit be with our community, that you bless them, that you comfort those in need. And lastly, Almighty, we ask that your Spirit be with those in Ukraine, the children, the women, those that are being taken advantage of. If they should fall away in death, we ask that you remember them. We ask that you bring peace to this world, that you bring peace to that country. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We have a special guest today to conduct our flag salute. Anthony Franco, if you can please.
Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I do have a special certificate for Anthony. Anthony is received his achievement, so I would like to officially present on behalf of the City of Pico Rivera a certificate of congratulations to Anthony Franco, his Boy Scouts of America, Troop 546, presented in recognition for your achievement in earning the Boy Scouts of America's highest honor of Eagle Scout. So I have a thank you and a congratulations to you. Yeah, if you would like to come up and take a photo and accept your certificate.
Forgotten the others.
Congratulations.
Who's that? Which one?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming in today. City Manager, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, pulling item number 6.
Okay, removing item number 6. So first, we'll go into public comments. I do have some written correspondence here from Lauren Talbot. She is the librarian at our Pico Rivera Library, and there are various programming that is going to begin, including a Smarty Pants story time for kids ages 2 to 5. That's on Friday, April 15th from 11 to 11:30. They're also going to have an Earth Day program on Saturday, April 23rd at 4 p.m. And that one is geared toward teens that will have a gardening and composting activity. So if you are interested, you can visit the Pico Rivera Library on Mines Avenue. We also have individuals in person today. We have Rachel Duran. If you would like to come up. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. And when this red light here blinks, it's done, that means time is up, okay?
Sounds like table topics. Okay. First of all, the first thing I want to say is enough is enough is enough. We at the American Legion, along with other merchants on that block, are tired of the same argument that we bring to you, have met with many of you about the parking issue and the brewery that you have allowed a permit to live out in that parking lot. Week after week, next time I will bring pictures of our cars all jammed up in the alley because there's nowhere to park. Now, my understanding is there is no permit out there. Somebody here gave them permission to use that public parking lot for themselves. We don't want to fight with our neighbors, but we need you to pull that allowance you gave them, or that permit somebody gave them. It's time for them to take their business inside their facility and give us back our public parking lot. Not just for us, but every other merchant and business that's out there. Some are not here because they're making money trying to run their businesses. I need you to either show us the permit, who signed it, and for how long it was going to be. I was one of the individuals that they were going to tow my car away when I was parked in the handicap. I have 6 screws in my foot and 2 knees. Now, I had a pregnant daughter-in-law that wanted to come, who couldn't get a parking, had to go park at Tommy's to go to our facility. Enough is enough is enough. I don't know what we have to say. Take back that ability. Take back you're okay for that. If those are your city barriers, it's time to pick them up. It's time to let the public use that parking. I'm imploring with you, don't make us come back again. We need some parking. And you all know what it looks like there. We met with the planning commission. I wish the city manager would come down and visit us, see if he can find parking to come and talk to us. We need you to do something. They have their business, they can work their business in that room, in their big hall. And they got that cable car, that can go too. That kind of permit should have been gone when we opened up businesses. Madam Mayor, don't want to lose my temper, don't like to be upset. You guys have been great, but enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lorraine. I'm sorry, I can't read the writing. If you can tell us your last name.
My name's Lorraine McGahee. I'm the president of the Women's Auxiliary at Post 341 on Pico on the north side. So I'm here to also complain about the parking. There's no parking for our customers. We have many functions there, weddings, we have picnics, we have, families, funerals that basically come. And families are big in Pico Rivera. They come from everywhere. And there's no parking. I have to come here and try to get a permit for one day, grant you. But these people have taco trucks out there, they have burger trucks, they have pizza people, they have, on the weekends, they have pop-ups for swap meets, they're selling things, they have barriers all through that whole parking lot, so it doesn't allow any of our people to park there, and it's getting very tiresome, because one, we're losing business. Plus, they have a big trailer in the front where they also allow people to sit out in the front. So there's 6 parking spots, maybe 4, in the front that we're losing as well. So all I'm asking is for some help so that we can get our community back and all our people back at our posts. Because again, there's no parking. And a lot of our veterans are older. They're already in their 70s and 80s, and it's very hard for them to walk down that alley. Something could happen to them. So please, we ask you, all of you, just consider some parking spots for our post and other people that own businesses on that spot. Like, we have people like Shower Door Dave's, he has a business there. We have other people that complain they can't park. So it's very sad. So please, everybody should be fair and get a certain parking spot. Brujeria, no more. Out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker, we have Martin Moronis.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm the commander of 341, and I came down here to offer, when the city had them signs up on Durfee saying no parking from 2 a.m. to 6, there was never a problem. We had parking there, people could park. You took them signs down, the people across the street at that apartment, some of those families have 4 cars, and they're only allowed 2 cars in that spot, so where do they park? On Durfee. And if you go down there when a sweeper goes by, it looks like a car parade because the sweeper's going down the road and right behind them, there's 20, 30 cars lined up behind them to park on Durfee to take all their parking spots. And they don't park there for 24 hours. Some of them are there 3 days and 4 days. And the thing about it is, I could see the city trying to help a business out. I'm all for that because you need the tax, you need the revenue. So you gave the brewery those 2 containers in the front. I'm all for that. But since when does public parking become an extension of their business? Of their business. They have barriers with signs already made up saying no parking from Thursday to Sunday. And that's ridiculous. Last Thursday they had 2 taco trucks. I don't see no taco trucks in Pico Rivera because isn't there an ordinance against them? I'm just guessing. But lo and behold, last Thursday, they had 2 of them. On Sundays, they have fire burgers there. Or they'll have somebody else there making food. And they'll have, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 spots taken up. They put fake lawn out there. They put benches out there. They even, a couple of times, they've had bandstands out there. They put a bandstand out there for a DJ. I mean, come on. Like they were saying, we have members, they can't find parking. So something has to be done. Somebody said, the city took a survey about parking, and 85% of the Pico Rivera residents are satisfied. 85%. Where do they live? In the north side? Do they live in the west side? I'm sure they don't live over there where our establishment is at, because that's a small street, and parking is hard to get. And I only got 44 seconds left. You guys approved for condominiums be made 48. 2 cars per side, only 7 guest parking. Guess what? There's supposed to be affordable housing. $700,000 is going to take 2 families to afford one. So you're going to have not 2 cars, but 4 cars. And where are they going to park? On Stevens Street and Lane Streets? Those are small streets. They were made during the cable and coach days when there was small streets. You got to be careful when you drive through there. And you're going to have condos on there, and that's further going to aggravate the parking on our side because people will walk to visit their relatives. They don't care where they park to get there. So the city's got to do something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Director Garcia, how many disabled parking spots are there in that public lot that's behind the?
There's 1 disabled parking spot in there. 2? Okay.
I know we had a study done, could we revisit that and see if we can come up with some solutions, even regarding, I know Durfee was impacted because of the construction. That's there as well, so there may be more issues along that with the apartments, and there's a lot of factors there.
Yes, we can do that. Also, we'll direct the CED staff to take a look at the uses along that corridor because there could be other businesses that are not operating according to the use that is permitted. So they may be having over occupancy in certain buildings. So we'll take a look at that as well.
Yeah, definitely. The study can say one thing, but definitely that study, I don't know if the study, was it done before the construction began?
It was.
Durfee? So,
Well, right about the same time with Walker Consultants. Yes.
So if we can look into that specifically. Thank you. Let's move on with our agenda items. We have our Water Authority,
Mayor?
Water Authority agenda consent calendar items number 1 through 8.
Madam Mayor, we
have
have
more?
some
Oh, I'm
people on.
sorry. Oh, people called in. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. And we have another speaker that called in to speak.
First speaker is Jose Sanchez.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Mayor, council members, can you imagine what is going on when the pounding jolts the building and you hear the snapping of the wooden frame of your home? Just imagine that. The pounding and vibration are worse than before. But I suspect the Public Works is now doing essentially what Chavez did back in 2008, which is to misinform the council saying all is good, not reporting on the condition of the trench as it is, blaming it instead on resident dissatisfaction that was indicated in the previous meeting. Recommendations to hire a vibration consultant for your information are being ignored. I know council members are not engineers, and so technical comments are probably moot, especially since the council's direct information source is Public Works. I did provide lots of material before, and Camacho and Elias can attest to that. And while it took way too long, an engineering expert consultant, NV5, was hired and planning was recommended and approved in early 2021. All that was ignored by this Public Works. Even the asphalt overlay at the trench from this recent rework is now destroying the form, as I said it would, making matters worse. Drive by for yourselves. If you look during sunset, you will see shadows. And that is still not being ground flush. Now, we're back to square one, but worse. The bridge concrete slab still on repair. Concrete slurry sack does not provide the same stiffness as concrete, and even so, when the slurry sack backfill was done with rebar pins this past February, heavy freight traffic was allowed to roll over it on steel plates immediately after without first allowing it to dry, which most likely ruined that. I can explain why, but council members are not engineers. Are we destined to live with that, with the pounding and vibration emanating from the trench fail repair? Resurfacing of the asphalt, which I believe is still planned someday, will only provide temporary relief, just as the northbound lanes much better temporary repair work done by GM Sager in 2019 did, but it will decay just as before. So now what? What other agencies, county or state, can be approached to solve this problem? So I am humbly asking the mayor and the council members, ask the city manager, ask the public works director today and put on the record with schedules, what do they have in store near term, hopefully, for my community and for its future? Thank you.
Thank you. And City Manager, I believe we've addressed this, correct, with Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, I don't know if you want to give a quick update on the timeline, Terry?
Sci-Fi, the contractor who is putting in the fiber optics should be done in about 2 weeks. And when that is done, then all of Rosemead in that area will have grind and overlay applied. And that'll be the completion of this project.
And how long is that anticipated? Within 2 weeks?
No, 2 weeks, I'm sorry, my mistake. 2 weeks is when the fiber optics cable will be completely laid. And then at that point, RJ Noble will come on and complete the grind and overlay, which will take another 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Do we have any more speakers for public comment this evening? No? Okay, thank you. So let's move on to our agenda consent calendar items, number 1 through 5 and 7 through 8, and number 6 was removed.
And 7 through 8, 7 and 8 are the water authority items.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 through 5, regular consent calendar.
And we can do those all.
All together?
Yep. 1 through 5 is for the city council, and 7 and 8 are consent items for the water authority. We need a motion to approve.
I second.
Thank you. All in favor, go ahead, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I hear unanimous approval. And then on our regular agenda, we have item number 9.
Yes, Madam Mayor and members of the council, item number 9 is the item brought back to, in which we have incorporated the proposed changes from the council from your previous discussions. This, what is before you this evening for your consideration is a resolution which hopefully addresses all of those questions, concerns, and comments from both the city council, the ad hoc, and also the final review by the city council. Again, it is here for your consideration for adoption of the resolution as presented. And a motion would be appropriate to, if there's no discussion, to approve the resolution presented.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve?
Okay, second?
Second.
Great. Do we have a discussion? Is there any discussion, or let's go to vote? All in favor?
Can we, if I may, can we go through each one just to make sure? Is that appropriate? That we go through each one and just kind of summarize them just before we vote?
Sure.
Just because it's a resolution. Sure. Sorry, City Attorney, if I may kind of pass this baton on to you?
Sure.
Do you want to go down? Thank you.
Right. What we included in the staff report is the, was extracted from the previous presentation. The resolution, while it is more condensed than I think with the previous reports and the resolutions, it does address all of the elements that were discussed by the city council. And if I can then quickly proceed to the various whereases. And the first whereas is a statement of the authority of the city council to define rules and policies and procedures for the conduct of city council meetings and other related operations. Whereas, in the second whereas, the city council wishes to address the following areas: duties and responsibilities of the city council, adherence to Robert's Rules of Order, the committee structure and application. Item 4 is the language, presentations, or translation of city reports, informational materials, and social media communications. Item 5 is the mayor's role in the council agendas, and item 6 includes the reports of the city department activities, accomplishments, along with informational updates. And then item 7 is the effective date of the items presented in this resolution, which, if adopted, would be as of tonight's date. The City Council had previously adopted Resolution Number 3720 that defined the conduct of the business pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order. Moving into the actual section or content of the resolution, it addresses the mayor's participation in the agenda development, that there would be an 8-day meeting in advance of the council meeting. But that the mayor does not have any authority to add or remove items from the agenda. Special meetings are different because special meetings only require 24 hours notice, and their mayor would be informed, and usually it's the mayor that would call the special meeting, so they would be informed of the need to have a special meeting. Again, also, it protects and preserves the city manager, city council form of government. Section 2 addresses monthly and annual report and informational updates from the city manager and the various city departments and activities on those projects the city departments are working on or as accomplished. It would also provide confidential written summaries on key labor negotiation issues or activities for matters which involve organized labor groups under existing MOUs. Excuse me. Section 3 allows for committees to be established by the council, either standing committees or ad hoc committees, but it does state the council's preference for ad hoc committees. But in implementing the committee structure, those that are standing committees would be required to comport with the Brown Act and requirements of noticing and the elements of the Brown Act. Section 4 provides that all informational material and social media communications shall be published by the city will be provided in both English and in Spanish. And lastly, Section 5, there will be no change in which the city council will conduct its business other than what is prescribed in this ordinance and as defined in state statutes or local rules, ordinances, or policies. That's a quick summary of the resolution. I'm happy to address any questions of the council.
Thank you. I have no questions. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. So I think we can go to the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? None. I think it's unanimous. Thank you. So with that, we'll go to our city manager report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I believe last meeting, Councilmember Elias wanted to a presentation on Prime and what marketing activities we're doing, so I'll turn it over to Caitlin McGee for that quick presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Tonight I'll be giving a high-level overview of Prime's ongoing marketing efforts, in-person outreach, and upcoming campaigns. Since our launch in 2017, Prime has continued to maintain a 95% customer participation rate in the program. We currently serve over 17,000 residential and commercial customers within the city, and the program has provided over $1.5 million in direct energy bill savings to customers and continues to provide 20% more renewable energy content than the investor-owned utility. Prime customers are automatically enrolled into the 50% renewable energy product and receive a small bill discount as compared to SCE's 30% renewable energy product. Customers also have the option to upgrade to Prime Future, which is our 100% renewable energy option with a slight premium of 1 cent per kilowatt hour, or about $5 more per month for the average residential customer. In a typical year, Prime sends out approximately 40,000 mailers to customers on an ongoing basis. This year, we replaced nearly 65% of our paper mailers with electronic notifications to be more sustainable and reduce paper. Prime leverages existing city events and publication opportunities to get the word out about energy options, customer benefits, and new programs. Energy efficiency tips, cooling tips during summer heat events, and updates on customer programs are regularly included in the city's monthly profile newsletter and on social media. We also run advertisements in La Opinion newspaper, a Spanish language newspaper based in LA, sharing energy conservation and sustainability information. Prime also participates in as many citywide events as possible in order to support our presence in the community and tend to any customer inquiries there are. Prior to COVID-19, we also incorporated activities for customers to win prizes and be recognized for their energy efforts. Some of the events we have had outreach booths at include the Farmers Market, Fireworks Spectacular, Summer Street Fest, National Night Out, and Winter Festival. So Prime is always co-marketing energy programs with Southern California Edison. Each year, Prime and SoCal Edison send out joint rate comparisons, which provide energy customers with information regarding their cost of service and energy product options. This year, we've also co-marketed the COVID-19 arrearage payment program, the Charge Ready program, which provides property owners with electric vehicle charging solutions, and the transition of residential customers to time of use rates. Prime has also worked with external agencies such as the Energy Upgrade California, earthday.org, to promote energy efficiency tips, summer cooling tips, and flex alerts. And lastly, we are currently designing some really great marketing materials for our new Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff program. This is anticipated to launch in September 2022, and the program will provide 100% renewable energy to eligible low-income customers and provide a 20% bill discount for up to 20 years. So most recently, Prime and other Cal Choice member cities partnered with OhmConnect to run a co-marketing campaign from October to December of last year. OhmConnect is a free demand response program for California residents to participate in. It's an app that has gamified demand response and has made it easy for customers to understand how to reduce their energy usage. So we had about 80 participants in this last run. It was kind of a pilot. And then this month we'll be starting another campaign. In the last run, we gave away smart thermostats or 2 smart plugs and $25. This round, starting this month, we'll be giving away, again, smart thermostats and smart plugs, and adding in a $10 sign-up reward and charging a slight fee for the smart thermostats and smart plugs. So overall, this marketing campaign helps Prime reduce its RA costs while also engaging our customers. So I tried to keep this presentation pretty high level and brief. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Any questions? None? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. I requested it, so again, I appreciate it. When we talk about 95% participation rate, you had something like 17,000. What is is it 18,000 households?
Yeah, so there's 18,000 eligible households, eligible customers. That includes residents and businesses here in Pico Rivera. So it's a little bit over 17,000 customers participating. And then there's also, we account for vacant households, so customers that don't have an active electric account.
I wanted to mention the marketing program because I've had very good constructive comments, from residents saying, hey, there's people coming, door to door, trying to convert us and so on. So I just want to give you the heads up that the competition is getting kind of fierce up there. So again, this was important for people to understand that we're aggressively, seeking and securing those. But the other thing that has come up is, there are institutions, that we have churches and so on that use massive amount. And, they've asked, they said, is there any program that's available or rate structure for, your larger organizations and so on? And, I need to ask you, do we have anything available for the large consumers?
Not any specific program at this time. However, I believe nonprofit organizations can take advantage of existing low-income programs such as CARE or FARA. And then also looking to time of use rates. So time of use rates help people reduce their costs by trying to shift their energy to times of the day when energy prices are less expensive.
Because the offer sounded quite, the churches, they have a large congregations and so on, and said, listen, if we get discounts and so on, we can pass it on. We could pass the word on to our, to our congregants, that to use the system. So they're available to work with us in generating more, if the opportunity is given.
Yes.
Would it be possible, being that we're the drivers of this energy CCA, that we could independently create a discount for religious organizations in our community?
We could. I think an important consideration is focusing on our financial health, right, in the past few years. And so that's part of why some of our marketing and program efforts have kind of slowed down compared to when we launched, right? And so a lot of our focus lately has been on state-funded opportunities that we can take advantage of at little or no cost, and push those out as soon as possible.
Got it. Because I think that if we were to be the drivers of such incentives for select groups within our community, we could empower them to actually be advocates of Prime among their membership, whether it's churchgoers, whether it's veterans, whether it's other special groups that get together within the community. So I get the financial health, but it just might be, we might have some untangible benefits as a result of doing a project like that. And my suspicion is that it really wouldn't be that much of a cost impact to us, because there's not that many. I mean, there's a number of churches, right? And I would say about 50% of them are relatively small. But there's some others that have quite a great deal of square footage, and I'm sure their air conditioners, their electricity bills run up. So I think that would be something that maybe we could potentially consider on creating a special cost savings for religious institutions and other groups within our community.
I would just add, and I can look into this also, there's an abundant amount of rebate programs. Although SoCal Edison administers them, our customers pay into them, right? So they have some energy efficiency rebate programs. At least that can offer some near-term relief. If for some reason a church has solar panels on their rooftop, being a prime customer, we offer about a three times greater payout incentive for any net energy produced. And just since we're on the topic of churches, there's also a really great organization called Interfaith Power and Light that is specifically religious organizations focused on energy and sustainability, which they may have some opportunities as well.
And council member, we could proactively reach out to the church organizations just to see if they can qualify for that discount. The low-income discount is significant. I think it's 25%.
It's about 35. Yeah.
So it could be significant. So we'll proactively reach out to them to see if they can actually qualify for that.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. Anything else for the city manager's report?
Yes. Happy to announce recently we were just awarded from the WRD board $5.8 million grant to help us deal with our PFOS. I'd like to also thank staff. So since 2020 till present, we've actually secured about $29 million in grants to various jurisdictions. So that's a great accomplishment. It means money that doesn't come out of our general fund, so we can use to program other services for our community. So just wanted to bring that to the council's attention. At this time, I want to turn it over to a video. Recently, we had the opening of our Futsal Center, so I'd like to play that for the city council.
Today we're here at Pico Park. We have the grand opening of our new futsal 5-on-5 mini pitch soccer field and a basketball court. We're super grateful and honored to have this and all of the resources and grants that it took to build this and to make it happen so our kids have a brand new place to play.
Here in the city, we're adding new activities, more experiences, and we're just leveling up the city for our community members. It's 2022, and in the upcoming years, we're going to do that much more.
I want to share that this is just the beginning. There's bigger dreams from the Rodans and bigger vision from the council that we're going to take this small piece and make this a much bigger focus on soccer here in the city of Pico Rivera.
What we see here today is a manifestation of a dream by a group of brothers who were obviously very talented in soccer. But they looked around the community, Pico Rivera, and there weren't any public places to play the sport that they love. But I can tell you that this is a down payment on repaying that dream that you have. This is your vision. This is your dream.
This is the park that I played in all throughout my young life in Pico Rivera, so I'm happy with this. The other thing that I'm happy with is that I am responsible for 2/3 of the Roldans being as successful as they are. I was their economics teacher. Okay? So not only do they know how to conduct themselves, they know how to conduct their money. And here's an example of it. Thank you again.
I'm just really happy to be a part of this process, and we have my family, my parents specifically, to thank for that, and the community as a whole, our city council members, our Parks and Recs department. Too many to name, but just very appreciative and very happy to be a part of this whole process. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I love Pico Rivera. I'm one of the own. So we're here to stay and hopefully make it just a little bit better.
Fue algo que se planeó por casi año y medio. Se empezó la construcción en diciembre y ahorita se está inaugurando y quedó muy bonita. Y le dieron sus colores y todo eso, y gracias a Dios todo salió bien sin ninguna interrupción.
We're both from the El Rancho soccer team. Well, like the addition of this was I think was really cool because personally, I don't think we get as many fields as other programs like baseball. So this addition would really help us.
I think it's really cool because a lot of kids nowadays could go outside, play with their friends and stuff, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Just to see this beautiful field, I think that will make the city of Pico Rivera love the beautiful game more than ever.
We're excited because this is exactly what the community wanted. It's definitely a place for the kids to connect and find a space where they can find and continue to develop their soccer skills.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Yes.
I didn't want to really share the deep story in this. When soccer first began here in Pico Rivera, it wasn't received very well. It was not received very well. As a teacher there, what was happening was that actually the soccer players were getting harassed because this is a football and this is a baseball town. And, the idea of soccer came in and they said, well, we don't think it's going to work. So there was a lot of resistance towards it. And, they had to experience a lot of harassment, serious harassment. And, it wasn't, it was, Coach Picon and the Roldan brothers that actually brought soccer to the level that no one could argue with it. Because what it did is it got to the level of the football achievements that we had done. So not only were they great players and so on, the coach and the Roldan brothers really helped get soccer into the community. And soccer is a little bit more symbolic than just the game. It was it was something of a acculturation in our community. So they have to be given that credit too. That there was that we received it, and that Coach Picon did a fantastic job in getting them to to the level that they did. So I just wanted you to know that story. There were some sacrifices.
Thank you. We'll go on to our next item, the good of the order. Any AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reports, new business and old business. Yes, council member.
So I just want to report that the Southwest Water Association meetings that I attend, or Southeast, the name escapes me at this time, they canceled the meeting for the month of April just because there were no agenda items to discuss. That fulfills AB 1, 2, 3, 4. Old business, just briefly, I want to just touch on the futsal court. I already see that there's programming there. I already see kids are playing there. I think that's a great addition to some of the after-school activities that they have there at Pico Park. The very next day, I spent time with the chairman for U.S. Soccer Foundation. He flew out here, and we spent some time, and I told him, he called me on a Monday about an item unrelated to soccer. And as we started talking, I found out he's the chairman. So I said, this is just odd because the next day, Tuesday, we did the we memorialized that. And then so I took him out on Wednesday and he wanted to see, and I said, well, your name's there, U.S. Soccer Foundation, this is what you're a part of. So they look forward to establishing more, not only within the city of Pico Rivera, but also other areas. So he was pleased to see that project was off and running. In regards to new business, I have one item. that if I could get a second in regards to bringing back, not necessarily at the next city council meeting, but maybe at a future city council meeting. It involves a discussion about moving the city towards voting districts. And I think this is a fair discussion to have. If you manage to either run a campaign or take a look at how much money is spent on city campaigns, it's a lot of money. To put on a decent campaign, in my opinion, you're looking north of $20,000. And personally, I think that's an amount that the average resident cannot afford. So therefore, it makes it makes leadership in this experiment that we call democracy the enjoyment of a select few. My interest has always been to make the participation in democracy something more broad. That's why I've pushed for term limits. And that's why I'd like to entertain this discussion of voting districts in the city of Pico Rivera. It would make running for this seat for city council a lot more attainable and easier for the average resident. And I think it's a fair discussion because when you look at the city of Whittier, when you look at the city of Downey, when you look at the city of Montebello, our neighboring cities, they've all either are going to voting districts or have gone to voting districts. Some for a variety of reasons, but I think the financial constraint and the financial burden upon our citizens kind of behooves us to at least have this discussion and entertain this thought. So if I could get a second and we can bring this back.
You have a second?
Yes, can I add to that?
It's not exactly for discussion, correct? We just agendize it and then we'll have a discussion about it when it gets agendized.
I second it then.
Wonderful.
That is
Okay.
correct.
And we'll have a conversation in the future.
And I think that's it for me.
Thank you. Any other items from the council? Mayor Pro Tem? Or Camacho, sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to add 2 items, or 3. I really enjoyed this most recent public outing that we had, the festivities of the Easter extravaganza. It was just really nice to be out in that open park, Pico Park, enjoying ourselves. I saw a couple of the mayor and Councilmember Camacho there and city staff. It was just very pleasant. It was a great atmosphere. It was nice and sunny. And I saw so many families enjoying themselves. It really felt good in my heart to see Pico Rivera out enjoying themselves. And then, of course, the futsal court, the Roldan family futsal court, to see that go from their vision to them speaking to us, and we made it all happen collectively as a group, that felt really good. And I think the community sees that this council here is doing a lot for them in a short amount of months, and we're going to continue the momentum in the upcoming years. So stay tuned. And other than that, today's my birthday.
Yay, happy birthday.
Yeah. So that's it for me. But I'm not going to sleep early tonight.
We'll try to get out of here early. It's up to you guys. Councilmember Camacho.
Well, happy birthday, Mayor Pro Tem. All the best. Just have a few items to report. I did have an opportunity. I had to mention the fact that we had Secretary of Education Miguel Cordona visit the city of Pico Rivera Rancho Unified School District on March 29th, and thank you to Congresswoman Linda Sanchez. The Mayor Sanchez and I had the opportunity to welcome him and briefly speak about the importance of education here in our community. And this is not the first time that we've had the Secretary visit us. Back when President Obama, Secretary Duncan visited the high school as well. And as a co-founder of Generation First Degree, when the Cisneros were here, promoting education and supporting our students for higher education, it's something that we need to continue highlighting the value of education, because I've always said that, education is true sustainable economic development that is great for the Secretary to come and highlight not only our high school, our school district, but the city of Pico Rivera, which it was nice to be able to greet him alongside the mayor as well. I did also attend a grand reopening of the Wheeler Narrows Equestrian Center. Supervisor Hilda Solis invited me to the ribbon cutting. This is a project that has been going on for the last 10 years. $12 million project. It has 9 stable buildings. It's adjacent to the Pico Rivera Sports Arena. It's significant because it highlights the recreational activity here in our region. The fact that we have 2 riverbeds and we have, horse trails and bike trails. This is a really nice amenity that complements the entire region. So it was great to be part of that ribbon cutting. And I know that as we continue, at least, promoting the fact that maybe someday we can have the Equestrian Olympics here in the Pico Rivera Sports Arena, and the entire region will complement and bring that level of highlight to our community and to the entire region. That some think it's a dream, but I think it's very, very viable, and we'll continue to push that, hopefully, for the 2028 Olympics. As well as just complimenting my colleagues' comments regarding, and the video regarding the Roldan Family Mini Pitch Park. I think that was a highlight. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for the leadership of carrying this forward. I think just to add to the comments that were made, this is just the beginning of many programming in soccer to come. I've had a series of meetings with Councilmember Lara and 2 of our school board members, Esther Mejia and Arlene Perez, as well as all 3 Roldan brothers, regarding looking at Pico Rivera, the soccer of Pico Rivera in the future. And I think there's discussion going on with the support, hopefully, of the school board and the city council and the collaboration. I think there's much more to come as it relates to not only soccer, but park space as well. And lastly, just highlighting the extravaganza, the events. I know Pam, our director of Parks and Rec, is not here, but her entire team continues to provide this level of programming to our city, which is important to highlight. It's something that will, now this year, we continue to bring back the events that we were used to here in the city pre-COVID, that is. And again, it's the entire team that makes all these programming happen. Everybody in here, but also everybody out there in the community, Public Works, Parks and Recs, and of course at the helm of our city manager, Steve Cremona. This is, just the beginning, as was stated by my colleagues, a lot to come. And so that's pretty much it. Lastly, Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce is hosting an electronic waste recycling event this Saturday and Sunday between 9 and 2 p.m. So it's time for you to dispose all these e-waste that is in your house. And it's over at Pico Park this Saturday and Sunday. And that concludes my reports. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember.
I had the chance to take a visit in the Downey area that our guests were talking about, and it looked like a festival that was being held in the parking lot. And I had business people just tell me, hey, listen, that's our parking and so on, and it's exactly the way that they described it. But I hear from residents on the other side too, residents that live on along Telegraph, that Downey has restrictions in terms of overnight parking. So all of a sudden, everyone parks on the Pico Rivera side, from Downey, and they're having the same problems and so on. Parking is a problem in Pico Rivera. Parking is a problem with Pico Rivera. We have families, extended families. In fact, the census shows that we have much, much larger families than the communities around here. So, the idea of 2 cars, no, we have 4 cars, 3 cars, and so on. I think that parking is such an urgent problem that, Mayor, I would ask that we, set an ad hoc committee so then we can really analyze and provide some action. I've already experienced 3 parking reports, and I haven't seen any action. If there is action, I don't know about it. All I do is I just hear complaints. So, I would like to take it to the position, if you would please consider that the ad hoc on the parking situation be created so then we can really, deal with this problem.
That would be something with Director Garcia, correct?
Okay. The other one is that I attended an event at the Hope Community Church, and it was a great event and so on. And one of the things that they were doing was that they were doing some fundraising to develop a children's little facility there, because again, there's nothing there at that location. And I had the chance to talk to Pastor Drew, and I mentioned to him, we're looking at a park right next to you. And, they were surprised to hear that. So I was hoping, Madam Mayor, that we could get staff to talk to Pastor Drew and see, if there's something that, that we can do, okay, in terms of the need for the child's facility. Okay. My other item here is we need to push for the Veterans Commission. We have that. We have the Memorial Day event in May. Okay, so we need to be able to do that. But I'm also hearing some problems that we're having in terms of the resource center and so on. Can we ask the city manager what the status is of the facility there?
Yes, Mayor, City Council, we actually are still trying to identify some locations. This is based upon some of the input of, I believe, the mayor and some of the veterans groups had met. We're continuing those discussions, and also we'll be reporting back to council shortly on that.
Yes.
Councilmember Elias, are you done? Because I just have one more item.
Well, no, I'm not done with that. Okay, all right.
I'll let you.
Okay, and again, I guess we're having a little bit of a problem with counselors trying to counsel people and not having a facility to do it. So it's urgent that we get this. Okay. My last item is that I hope that we can reconsider some of the monies that we have in terms of surplus and rescue monies and so on. And some effort is put into constructing the road to the sports arena. Now, the sports arena is a revenue source. We're doing a lot of planning, and we're doing a lot of construction, and we're doing a lot of trees, and we're doing a lot of parks and so on. But that requires maintenance. Everything that we're putting up, it requires maintenance. So we have to start looking at revenue streams. And again, the sports arena right now is a revenue stream. So I'm hoping that we could dedicate at least, $2 million for the road construction, because again, I think that will be able to attract the additional capital that's necessary to really build a road in it. So I would ask the council to please consider.
Thank you.
Okay. And I'm done now.
Mayor, if I may, there's just one item. So in the surplus budget that we voted on today, there was a provision for leadership conferences, one that you successfully had. There's also, I believe you had mentioned, a men's conference, leadership conference. I'd like to direct staff to work with council in planning that. I'd like to make sure that we obviously include students from the El Rancho High School. Also, Ruben Salazar is very important. We need to bring in those kids. We need to also include the board member from El Rancho, Dr. Joe Rivera, potentially tapping the sheriff. And also, I'd like this to be partially faith-based. I think it's important that we tap into the pastors and the priests and the religious leaders of this community so that they're a part of the program. But I'd like us to start early. I don't know when the potential date of that conference is scheduled. I'd like it sometime maybe in October. But I'd like the planning and maybe our input as a council to potentially start now.
Sure, that's the plan, is to have an ad hoc planning committee it's not for men, it's for boys, young men. And so that will be up to the committee. So that'll be in the works. There is no date or time yet, but that will be up to you. Yes.
Mayor, before you have the comments, I just wanted to address also the
the parking as well. But first of all, I just wanted to, as Councilman Miralata brought up the conference, compliment you for the leadership on that women empowerment, the Youth Women Empowerment Conferences. But it's a highlight. I've heard nothing but great stuff. There was the captain was there. There's lots of training. It was definitely well worth it, and I received nothing but positive feedback from that event itself. But in relation to the parking, I think it's important that we do continue to address this, because I think there was a lot of activity we did throughout the city as it relates to the COVID and restaurants and so forth, just to help them stay aboard. However, we're kind of coming out of there, so I think it's time for us to begin to readdress those, flexibilities that we provided them. But in addition to that, I do, we've been addressing this parking issue citywide for a while as well. And as it relates to the public parking areas, whether it be at the parks, whether it be at the parking lot behind the American Legion, as was stated, or even that this little pocket park right in front of them, there's no overnight parking. But, the question that I have, are we enforcing that overnight parking, and what are we doing? And, because I do see it saturated, some of these parking areas. So one, to address overnight parking. Two, I know that the study came back and stated that in certain areas, some communities didn't want permits that we're addressing because some areas might be denser than others that require permits. But I'm still from the belief that we need to begin to implement some level of parking restrictions, because, as we look at the state legislation that is coming our way, recently Senate Bill 9, that is now basically where you can build one single-family residence in one lot. Now you can build up to 4 with parking variances. The problem's going to get worse. I know we've been having this conversation on the regional basis, on the city side, but if we don't begin to implement these policies, the issues that the American Legion is having is a microcosm of the entire problem that the citywide is going to have. So, and these are SB9s as an example, but I know Director Garcia is very familiar with the amount of legislation, the density of housing, and so even though it's tough for us to say no to a housing development, because by right, there's certain legalities they can do. However, there's certain things I think we can implement to curtail the increase of density in somewhere or another. So I think it's something that we need to look at it from now truly implement some policy. So I'll just leave it at that. And
So I think we can direct an ad hoc, Camacho and Elias with Director Garcia.
To really, to begin to look at from the small areas to the entire city and really determine whether this is something we're going to do. I mean, there's extreme policies in some cities that I don't think it would apply to us. That is, no overnight parking citywide. I think that's extreme. However, we need to find some level of balance, because the housing density legislation that is coming, that has already been signed by the governor, more to come, is only going to make this problem worse.
Yep. Thank you. So I'll go into mine. As we mentioned before, we've had a number of events, so I just want to give a big thanks to the park staff. We have amazingly creative staff. It was brought to my attention that at the extravaganza, we did it a little differently this year. It wasn't a free-for-all, find the eggs and candy in the grass just for COVID safety. It was a egg village, extra hunt village, and the kids got a Easter bag or basket, and they got an opportunity to visit windows that looked like little houses. The houses and the decorations were hand-drawn by one of our park staff. And so he's just amazingly creative, and it was printed out and made in the materials. So we just have an amazingly wonderful staff there that have been putting these events on. It takes a lot of time and creativity, and we recognize that. And we have received a lot of positive feedback from that event. And then I was able to also attend the Go-Getters opening day. At that event, they recognized 8 members of former players of theirs that passed away due to COVID. And I do have that list. Maybe at the next meeting, we could close in, I don't have the list in front of me, but maybe we can close in their name in the next meeting. So there were 8 members that had passed away from COVID, and they gave a moment of silence during that first game, during their first baseball game. So that's a wonderful team. They have a number of players still active. And I believe the oldest is in their 90s. They have a player in their 90s that still participates, so that's wonderful. With that, I wanted to recognize the promoting this initiative through the Mayor's Play Ball in partnership with the Major League Baseball. So they sent me a hat this week. Friday marks the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson being integrated into Major League Baseball as the first African American to integrate. And so I'm going to be taking a photo, promoting, and part of the purpose is to encourage girls and boys diversity within baseball and softball. And so I wanted to highlight that. You'll see a little bit more coming out about that. Part of my initiative to encourage sports. And as we know, Dodgers is my favorite team. And Fernando Valenzuela was my favorite player. And I named my dog after him. So so it's Fernando Valenzuela Sanchez, Fernie for short. So I wanted to share that. And finally, I do think, I think it's time, City Manager, if we could, I'd like to direct you to advertise maybe in the profile and social media for our Veterans Commission. We voted at the last meeting. Everything's been approved. A little information about the requirements, that we know you must be a resident. In addition, our sister city commission, we can appoint a commissioner each, so you can give some information and put the application out to our residents, so we can start selecting and identifying new commissioners.
We'll get working on that.
Yeah. So that's it for me. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have closed session this evening. We have 6 items as listed as items A through F. It would be appropriate to recess in a closed session.
Thank you.